You are lazy. All the time that you spend doing the pointless things that don't matter, all the time that you spend thinking about doing things that matter instead of actually doing them, you're just lazy. You're genuinely hyper fixating on it so much to the point where you procrastinate on procrastination. What I mean by that is you procrastinate so much to the point where you are procrastinating about the procrastination. So you make yourself do some sort of work for like half an hour to pretend that the real procrastination is not there. When in reality, you are doing the bare minimum that anybody could do to try and do what you're trying to do. When in reality, what you're doing, aka the bare minimum, the avoiding the procrastination by doing a tiny bit of work to feel rewarded, is really just a masquerade in your brain to make you feel like you deserve that achievement, like you deserve that goal, like you deserve the reward at the end of the road. When in reality, you really don't. You've done nothing. There are guys out there dedicating their whole lives to the cause of what you're trying to achieve, dedicating it day in, day out, staying up until late, waking up early, still going to work to earn money to be able to live, literally living and breathing what you want, and you're there thinking that you deserve it because you have done the bare minimum for it. It takes a certain point of obsession and genuine, what's the word? I forgot what the word is. What's the word? What the fuck's the word? It takes a crazy and genuine absurd level of obsession it takes a genuinely crazy level of obsession to get to this point. It takes a crazy level of hopelessness. You might even get to a point where you don't even believe you can achieve anything, like not even improve. Like you think you've done so much you can't improve anymore. You are at your pinnacle. It takes the continuation of the work past that point to achieve things that you can't even comprehend. And that is exactly what it takes, is the ability to just keep on pressing the same button when you're doing things right, not neglecting your family, not whatever. Obviously, you still need a life within reason. You don't need to be going out. You don't need to be drinking. You don't need to be wasting your time on wasteful people that don't care about you. You do need to lock in. You do need to do the hard work, the behind the scenes work, the work that nobody sees. Behind all these videos, behind all these talks that I have, there is so much thought that goes into it. And then a little bit of script. I'll show you guys right now. This is the script that I'm going off of. That is it. One paragraph. About 5-6 lines. A little bit of script. A lot of thinking before I even write anything down. And then about half an hour to an hour of takes because I hate the way I speak and I hate the way I pronounce things. It takes so much more than anybody sees, and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with the fact that nobody is actually going to see the work that you've put in, apart from you, obviously. And that is the reason why it's so depressing to continue failing at something, because you've seen the amount of work you've put in it, and you think you deserve it. But then you look at other people who genuinely are crazy and insane, and they move away and they work for like a whole summer, save up so that they can lock in and really try for like 6 months or whatever it is in Thailand or Bali or whatever, wherever they go. Very generic, by the way. I would never go there. And just full on send it. Just go for it. It's either you make it or you go back and you work in a little coffee shop again. So there's not really any other option other than to make it or live a mediocre life. So it's either you make it or you live the same life as 99% of humans. And who the fuck wants to do that? I mean, sure, there are some people, sure, if you're watching this video and you're okay with working in a cafe for the rest of your life, you're okay with not pursuing the goals that you had as a kid, the achievements, the dreams that you had, that's fine. If you are comfortable in your life now, that's totally fine. There is nothing wrong with that. This video is not for you. But if you're sitting there and realizing that you can do so much more, realizing that maybe you are lazy, maybe even though you still already do a decent amount of work. I think about this every day because I think I do a decent amount of work. And then I look at other people and I realize, fuck, bro, I'm doing nothing. I'm doing a fraction of what these guys are doing. No wonder they're already at 100k, 200k, 500k followers. No wonder they already have the physique. Actually, that's not a fair point. I do work out a lot, probably more than most people. But when it comes to social media, like, these guys are on it. No wonder they already have, you know, the athlete status with certain brands. No wonder they're Gymshark athletes. No wonder they're Younger Lay athletes. They grind day and night. They are obsessed with making the content. And this is the level you need to achieve, and this is the level I am still trying to achieve. Just being genuinely obsessed to the point where you think about nothing else. There is no distractions, there is no games, there is no TV. All of my spare time will be spent genuinely just for the cause. And that's the kind of obsession that is necessary. And I'm aware of that, but there is a big gap between being aware of what needs to be done and actually doing it. And closing that gap is getting better and better for me, but the issue is the amount of time it takes to close that gap. And just be able to genuinely just cut out all distractions. I've managed to cut out most distractions at this point. I don't game anymore. I don't really go out and drink unless it's like an occasional thing or there's some sort of benefit in it or a social benefit in it for many reasons. For example, I went to play football yesterday with my boy, but I haven't seen him in a good 2-3 weeks. And football is a good way of cardio. So for me, it was a good way. I was going to go swimming that day yesterday, but instead of going swimming, he invited me to play football. We went to play football for 2 hours. I probably burnt more calories. I was social. I have a life. I enjoyed myself. I was happier. I got a bit of sun. So all positive things, and I probably achieved more going to play football than I would have if I went with my original plan. So in scenarios like that, where people might consider it a waste of time, when you actually look at the pros and cons, sometimes the pros of actually doing the less obvious thing is actually better. Like, sometimes the less obvious thing is actually the more productive thing. Another way of looking at it is money. You might spend a lot of money on something, which could be an investment. You might not see your money back for a long time. You might never see that money back, but you might achieve what you want to achieve by investing that money instead of holding onto it, just putting it in your savings, never seeing it again. You know, like, it's just there. You're not doing anything with it. It's just losing value. Instead, invest it into something, whether it's actually investments, or if you're making content, invest in a microphone, which I just did. Invest in a better phone, in a camera, whatever. Get better at making content first. There is no point in you attempting to bypass the product of getting good at something before you allow yourself to invest in it. There is no point in you investing in a $2,000 camera if you don't even know the settings of a camera, of a normal camera. Use your phone first. Find out how to play with the grading, how to play with the coloring of the camera, whatever it might be. And it goes the same way for everything. The gym, content, anything. If you haven't gotten the art of lifting yet, if you haven't gotten the art of lifting yet, there is no point in you going to a better gym or in you spending all this money on supplements or accessories. Find out how to lift first, brother. Get in the gym, learn how to do the movements properly, actually do intense workouts, learn the mind-muscle connection, learn mechanical tension, learn everything you can learn that you can do without having to spend money. Genuinely just be obsessed. Stop being lazy, taking the easy way out, utilizing your money to try and bypass and skip steps. There is no skipping steps. If you buy a really expensive camera as a photographer, you might think you're skipping a step of like, I'm skipping that beginner step, now I'm like intermediate pro level, I've got a good camera. No, because now it's only going to be harder. Now you have a lot more settings to work with, so you're going to now be bumped down again as a beginner, but now you need to work your way up and learn like the other beginners, but instead of using a little Canon camera, you're using a professional camera. So it's going to take you twice as long to achieve it. And you've spent money, which you didn't need to do. Just abruptly, for no reason, out of nowhere, without discounts, without anything. Who knows, maybe if you start with a cheap camera, and like I said, this can be put into any scenario. If you start with a cheap camera, make content, maybe you could get a little discount code going for yourself. You could get a partnership with a company, and then the camera won't be as expensive in the future when you actually have the skills to utilize a camera as such. That goes for anything. So pretty much stop being lazy and actually do the work. Don't just say it. Don't give yourself that dopamine of telling somebody you're going to do something. Just do it. They don't need to know. They don't need to see it. They probably don't care. They probably do not care. They have their own goals. They have their own lives. People don't genuinely, and I'm sorry for swearing, but they genuinely don't give a shit. Sit down, write it up, do the work, show up, and the people and the success will show up for you. Stop being lazy.